Hey guys, welcome back. Mobile Madness Episode 3. I'm Enignius, and today we're talking about Brave Frontier. Now this is about as mainstream gets. It just recently topped the Google Play charts for most downloaded games, beating out Castle Crashers. It's that much of a big deal. As far as this series goes, I'm going to try and avoid this super mainstream stuff. I want to get the stuff that nobody's really heard of and get some exposure to it. But for now, I've played it a lot, and it seemed a contender to talk about. It's an action game based on its download page listing. I think of it more as a deck-building game with RPG elements, just because of how everything goes together. It's developed by a company called Alim in Japan, and then they also license it to a company called Gumi in Singapore that does the global version of the game. So they do all of the localization, the translations, all those other things. You've got the Japanese version of the game and the global version of the game. There's some people who like the game so much they play both, which is dedication, let me tell you. It's available on Android and iOS, and it's free to play with in-app purchases. Now the core element of the game, the thing that you're going to be spending most of your time doing, is acquiring new units and then progressing them to make them as powerful as you can so that you can take on the kind of content that you want to take on, whatever that might be, which usually involves getting new units and making those powerful and on the go. So that's why I say it's kind of like a deck building game, and also because the way that you acquire the best units typically involves doing a rare summon, which is kind of like saying pick a card, and you may or may not get a unit that you want. If you do the rare summon, it's a powerful unit, or has the potential to be powerful most of the time, might not necessarily be one that fits in with your kind of plans. So there's that definite element of like buying cards, and you can get all these cards that you don't even really want, but you spent money on them. It's the same thing here, but you don't have to spend money on the gems that you use for the rare summon. You can earn those gems in the game from playing the game, so it's not going to punish your wallet for getting duplicates and units that you didn't necessarily want. There's all kinds of activities that you can take part in. Once you've got these units, you get the units, you progress them, whatever, you put them in squads of up to 5 of your units, plus 1 unit from your friend list. And if you don't have any friends, or if you want to test the waters and maybe get some new friends, the game will give you a list of other people that you can choose from as well. Whenever you're going into a fight, you'll be able to choose someone that you can bring along, and if you liked their unit and you think it was a good idea, then you can request to, be friends, and then they'll say yes or no. It's pretty much straightforward friendless thing for the mobile game market. There's story quests, which are actually, there's a lot of them, and it can take a lot of time just progressing through all those different quests based on how long the game has been out, just over a year for the global version, and they've just been adding quests all the time. So you get all kinds of different rewards for progressing through the quests. You get experience for your summoner level, you get currency, you get karma, which is used for all kinds of different things. There's special events that take place. There's an area called the Vortex. It has events that cycle throughout the week. So Monday is always the same event, Tuesday is always the same, but each day is different. And then it also has special events, story-driven kind of events that you can take part in that'll run for a certain period of time, and then they pull that event and they put a different one in, and they come back. So if you miss it, you don't have to feel like you've gone without. Eventually it'll be put back into the rotation, and you'll have a chance to do it all over again if you want, or if you didn't have a chance because you were too new to the game at the time, you don't miss it. It'll come back later. So that's kind of cool. There is the Frontier Hunter event, which is hugely popular, insanely popular. It's basically like a loot bonanza for about 4 or 5 days, where you put together your strongest squad, whatever the best you can put together is, and then you go through this content of escalating difficulty, and you go as far as you possibly can before you're defeated, usually. And then based on how far you went, you'll get rewards on the spot, one-time rewards for that particular iteration of Frontier Hunter. And in addition, you get points for however far you went that gets basically added to a tally throughout the event. So you go once, you get a certain number of points, you do it again, you get a certain number of points over and over again. The event runs long enough that you can tweak your squad as you go, and usually get farther than you did your first attempt. And then at the end of the whole thing, everyone's individual scores are tallied up and compared against one another, and you receive a ranking, and based on that you receive even more rewards. So that's why people love it, is because it's all this crazy rewards going on, and it's pretty fun. The thing to remember is that as much competition sense as there might be, it's very much a pay-to-win kind of event. along with the arena, those are the two events where you can basically buy a bunch of gems with real money, and then when the orbs that allow you entry into the events are depleted, you can use a gem to replenish them. Both events, the Frontier Hunter and the arena, you can have up to 3 orbs at a time, and they replenish. For the arena, it replenishes 1 per hour, and for the Frontier Hunter, it replenishes, I think it's 1 per 3 or 4 hours. Not very fast for the Frontier Hunter. But if you're willing to spend the money on the gems, when your orbs are depleted, you can spend a gem to fill them up again immediately. And as long as you've got gems to keep filling them up, you can keep going for as long as you want, accumulating points all along the way. No one is going to be able to keep up with you who isn't spending gems to do it, which is fine, because realistically speaking, the rewards for being in the very top, or, top 1,000, top 500, are prestige. They're good, they're worth having, people like them enough to spend hundreds of dollars on gems to get through the event. It's not necessary as a regular player to do that in order to be able to take part and to be rewarded for what you're able to accomplish. So that's something to keep in mind. And speaking of the arena, that's sort of the last event. The arena it might imply PvP, but it's not. It's not PvP, because you basically put together your arena team, your squad, 5 units. You can't bring a friend for arena matches, something to keep in mind. And then you enter these matches against other players, but it's not against other players, it's up against their arena squad. So basically, you go into the arena and you say, enter the arena, and it'll bring up your squad and a player. And you have very limited information to decide whether or not you want to fight this guy. All you know is that he's about the same arena ranking as you are, and then you get a little bit of details about what's in his squad, and then you make a choice. Do you want to fight this guy or not? If not, it'll basically send him away and give you another guy to choose. If you agree that you want to fight him, then you appear in the arena, and it's all controlled by AI. Even your own squad, you don't control it. It's all controlled by AI, and it's random how things turn out. You always start first. You always get the first turn, but we talked about the Brave Burst and the Super Brave Burst. Well, if your Brave Burst gauge is full, when it comes to your turn, there's no guarantee that the AI is actually going to use your attack. It could use just a regular attack, because there's only a % chance that it's going to use a Brave Burst or a Super Brave Burst full gauge. It can be very frustrating until you realize that you get a lot of arena orbs. If you're not successful on a regular basis, it's usually a good idea to take a look at your squad and figure out what you might be able to improve. It's nothing to flip out over, because it's not costing you anything to take part in these things and lose. You're going to win enough to keep your rank advancing, unless your squad is really, really awful. So that's what you do, is you keep going, and then every time you go up in rank, you get rewards. It's not difficult, it's not complicated, it's completely automated, and there are rewards for doing it. So it kind of balances out that way. As long as you're not expecting to win all the time because you have a really good squad, because it'll make you mad. That's what it does. It makes you mad. Overall, I'm really happy with the game for what it is. Like I say, it's over a year old. It's starting to show its age. A lot of other games are focusing on doing like the 3D stuff now. This is all sprites, 2D sprites, and images flashing around all over the place. When you've got a bunch of units all letting loose their Super Brave Bursts at the same time, I call it the Cosmic Money Shot, because it started with very, very simple units and their attacks, and then as they got more and more powerful over time, they just added more and more effects. So now it's just like blah, like white all over the screen while that's going on. You'll see the occasional pulsar blob somewhere, and then it all fades away, and usually something is dead as a result of it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Overall, like I say, I put a lot of time into the game. If you like this kind of game with the RPG, very much a progression grinder, and you want to sit down and take a look, it's free. Give it a shot, see what you like. The next episode will be, like I say, something a lot more obscure. We're going to talk about something that most people haven't seen, hopefully, and get it out there for people to take a look at. If you want to be notified when I add that video, you can always subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on the social media, get notifications that way. Links for that are always in the information section below the video. Please leave your comments and feedback. If you got a game that you would like me to take a look at, let me know, and we'll see what I can do, of course. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and take care.